Africa? Didn't they have immovable property in South Africa? Didn't they have assets in South Africa? If they did, eventually they will come. Hopefully then we'll see what the law says about that. But I don't think it's worth us to spend millions to extradite. No, they can't waste that money on one person. But again, the person can live her life without South Africa for the rest of her life. That's still okay, as long as she's not a nuisance or she's not promoting lawlessness, that you can get away with identity theft in South Africa, and other immigrants emulate that.
To support you, Okolo, it's straight, my brother. This thing is very straightforward. It shows us the side of Nigeria who didn't know that they are promoting fraudulent things, because if it was a right country with a stable system, I don't think that it was going to allow all of this that they've given immunity and everything like that. It shows us the other side, that in Nigeria, I don't know, I want the Nigerians to tell us, in Nigeria the only thing they are promoting is crime, because this, what they are promoting, she's still under investigation, but yet we're hearing that she's getting an immunity and passport and everything. That has shown us what we always suspected, but now we're no longer suspecting, we are sure of it, because we've seen it with the Chidimma story. And the more they drag this into us and everything, the more it's revealing itself that Nigeria is a lawlessness country, because it has allowed something that it's not, it can be allowed in any country.
We've always been saying this.
Let me just speak quickly about the issue of being given immunity.
Yeah.
All these talk about being given immunity. That's just speculation.
Yeah.
That's just really speculation, because she hasn't. Sorry.
You can speak.
She hasn't warranted, immunity or any diplomatic immunity for any reason whatsoever. We have to understand the Nigerian immigration laws are different from the South African ones. Nigeria, even for example, in Nigeria, you don't even really need a passport to travel. As long as you can establish the fact that one of your parents is a Nigerian, all you need is just an emergency travel document. So, all this talk about she was given a diplomatic passport to leave South Africa. This is just purely speculation, because nobody knows for sure how she was able to leave South Africa. I just wanted to put that out there. So don't let us make all these premature conclusions, without actually knowing the true facts of the case. And also, saying because she was under investigation, that didn't stop her, from competing. Because, yes, go ahead.
Okay. Can we wait, guys, wait. Can we not create a dialogue? Because there's other people who also want to speak, but I'll give you a chance to speak. Can you let Deputy speak, guys? He hasn't said anything.
Okay, I just wanted to say to this guy that what he is alluding is the posture of Nigeria. When this thing came out, their posture was that of protecting the criminality. And that's it, and that's what we got, and we have to understand that, underline. They associating yourself with controversy. That's just something that we need to pause as Africans and say, wait a minute.
Let me speak on that quickly.
If it was a South African, we wouldn't have a posture of supporting a criminal. No, we wouldn't do that. It speaks to the morality, speaks to the setup.
Okay, let me speak on. Let me speak on that quickly before the next speaker takes the mic. You have to remember that the organizers of the Miss Universe Nigeria pageant, it was just a private entity. It hasn't got anything to do with the Nigerian government or the Nigerian people. This was just a private, organization. It's just like a private company. All they saw was an opportunity for them to make money through Chidimma, and they thought, yes, she had a story, and that story will sell. And it did. They were proven right, because they extended the invitation to her, because they saw it was an opportunity for them to create, so you might argue that, it doesn't speak well of Nigerians, in terms of morality, but, these are private firms. In the real world, a lot of private firms, they don't care about morality. They are there to make profits. Let's face it. Even the biggest companies that you see, even your companies like in your South African companies that are in Nigeria, the ShopRite, maybe not ShopRite, like the MTNs or whatever, a lot of them are there to make profits. They'll put profit first before they even think of any other, like humanitarian consideration or morality. And it was just a company, it was a private company that saw an opportunity and they went with it, And yes, we asked questions as well in Nigeria because there were girls that were preparing for that contest. And so people argued that it was almost like they just handed it to her on a platter. You could argue that, but they were proven right, because they saw an opportunity to make money with Chidimma. They saw she had a story and they went with it. And now, she came, first runner up. And in a way, they've been proven right that it was a business decision and they made the right decision. Point blank.
That's very unfortunate, though. Just 30 seconds, my host. That's very unfortunate to reduce that to just profits. It speaks in South Africa. We don't have such. There is rule of law, and there is the king price. There is the rule of law, and there is the posture of South African companies is to work within the ambits of the law, and that's it. We don't associate with controversy. If a slight controversy, it's a reputational risk for the firm, especially operating in South Africa. Can't do that. You're not allowed. We don't push criminality at all. And in fact, the government of Nigeria, there's no way they can't be involved, because there are many things that govern the movement of people. Acceptance in Nigeria, access to to move outside of Nigeria, all of that. Not only just for Chidimma, I'm talking the family itself, the entire family. I mean, they participated in this whole crook situation. They did, and that's a fact. We must be honest as Africans.
Thank you, Ukolo. And to add on that, the fact that they gave her an ambassador position with all these investigations that are actually going on, it actually speaks a lot about their character. So he can't even try to downplay it to just Miss Universe. So yeah. Deputy, you may speak.
Hi, good evening, everybody.
Hi.
Yes, you know what, this Chidimma story is so interesting, and I love it if smart people have a way to actually look at the outcomes of everything. Remember, Nigerians, what they did with Chidimma, it shows how weak the government is by actually allowing them to just move from South Africa without actually taking accountability, because they're trying to disparage us. And another thing that happened during the pageant, if you guys saw on Saturday, when she was walking on the stage, she had a voice over and saying that, "Hi, I am Chidimma, what, and I'm a law student." Nigerians, they don't see, well, if she says she's a law student, this means that she still has to come back to her country to graduate. And is she gonna graduate now that her citizenship has been revoked? No. They don't see that. They don't see the bigger picture here. All they do is they're just moving into a direction thinking that they're despising us. They're saying that this girl, she's being rejected, now we'll just accept her. But they don't look at her future. Okay, now that her citizenship has been revoked, this means that if indeed she's studying South Africa, all those years of school, they mean nothing. Now at this point, we have Chidimma, who doesn't have a education background, because I mean she can't claim to be South African, she can't claim to be from South Africa. They don't see that. Even when they make the argument, they don't even mention, guys, now that the citizenship has been revoked, what about all the years of her education? All they do is just to defend without looking at the bigger picture. Now that everything has been revoked, it means she has no educational background at all. And they always say, where is the proof? How can we have proof as a country if the parents they became ignorant? Okay, they're saying it's not Chidimma's fault. Thank you, we get that. Chidimma, she's in Nigeria now. Why can't the parents come to South Africa and take the responsibility of parents? Say, you know what, let us deal with the government, let us cooperate with the government while our girl is winning. They're not doing that. They're just being typical Nigerians and just saying, you know what, we don't care.
If she really had a case to answer, let's say it was the criminal case and she had been, and they had done their investigation, that they found that, there was something, criminal that, occurred, and they needed to, prove that case against her, do you think they would really have let her travel to Nigeria? Are you telling me that South African, border security is that weak that, somebody that's been, like investigated for a crime can just be let, to travel like that without any repercussions? No, there's no way she would have been able to travel if the South African government actually felt that, she was at risk and she was a criminal, it was a criminal risk. No way.
We have Bushiri as an example, my brother.
Sorry.
We have had criminals who flee, guys. Even Thabo Bester was found in Mozambique hiding, where we had to spend 21 million.
Wait, these guys that you said they fled, were they convicted of a crime before they fled? That's what I want to know, because I don't really know about the stories,
They had not yet even appeared in courts before. They ran away. The likes of Bushiri had...
No, I mean, were they convicted of a crime? Were they
not
convicted
yet.
of a crime?
That's the thing. This was still ongoing.
Before
and they fled the country. So what we are trying to say, that's the thing. Nigerians need to listen to South Africans when we are speaking and telling you about what's happening in South Africa. The red tape, or what do you call it? When they just, determine that there could be a case without actually doing the investigation. They left in early days after the announcement, within days after the announcement by Home Affairs, and she resigned from participating in Miss SA.
And another thing I wanted to mention as well was that...
King, can you please not make this a dialogue? You'll actually get your chance to submit.
No, just the last question. I promise, just the last question.
Yeah, that's your last question.
And also, if the South African authorities actually thought, it was a big case, don't you think they would have petitioned the Miss Universe organizations with their findings, and they would have said, because Miss Universe is not a small time, pageant. This is a global event that that involves different countries from all around the continents of the world. If there was a legitimate case for her to answer, and they actually did their investigation and they thought, yes, they've committed a crime, don't you think they would have petitioned the Miss Universe with all their findings and said, no, she cannot destroy the reputation of Miss Universe, and she cannot...
Can I also chime in here and answer his question, if I may, host?
Yeah, go ahead, Siglet. Sorry.
Thank you. Yeah, okay.
Sorry, guys, I'm just trying to learn, I'm not trying to be, I'm just trying to learn,
That's fine. That's why I want to answer you, bro. So with regards to your first question, how did the authorities let her leave the country? You need to understand that there's different categories of crimes. There's crimes against humanity, there's crimes of lesser gravity, and so on. So if there are no formal court orders or bail conditions that are imposed on a person, they can still leave the country, even if the case is still sub judice, depending on the severity of the case. They can still travel outside the country, right? Unless a person has been declared to be a flight risk by the authorities, in which case such a person has to be detained. Only then can they not leave the country. So it's not inconceivable that she would have left the country, because the matter was still under investigation. Now, what you need to understand is that the department, once she had left the country in August, you need to understand that the department gave Chidimma and her mother 21 days. They gave them a deadline. They sent them a letter, and the letter was simply saying to them, in the interest of the law and in the interest of fairness, you guys need to respond before this deadline and tell the South African government why they should not revoke your documents. They had ample opportunity to respond, but guess what? They did not. They chose not to respond. They flat out ignored this letter, which gives us a sufficient reason to conclude that therefore they are criminals. So, and also look at it this way.
Will they respond in the public domain?
Sorry, let me just conclude this.
Because I'm gonna have to drop you if you do that. Can you please wait your turn?
Thank you, host. So no, they weren't supposed to respond in the public domain. They were supposed to respond to the government that sent them the letter, and they did not. This is why their citizenship was revoked. But also look at it this way. This is very simple. Chidimma was on the brink of becoming a world icon. She was, her career and everything that she's doing right now in terms of the pageant. A person who is innocent would have done anything to clear her name. She would have come to South Africa, she would have responded to the authorities, and she would have come back to South Africa to set the record straight and say, I'm going to show the world that I'm willing to stand trial and I'm willing to do anything to prove my innocence and to put the matter to rest once and for all. But she did not do that because she was an accomplice. At some point, she learned opportunity to clear her name and chose to ignore the official order. Already that is criminal behavior. That is telling. I'm telling you, you don't need to wait for anything. She ticks all the boxes of a person.
Sigma, hold on. Sigma, Black, yeah, guys. Sigma, I think Black, he won't listen, no matter what you say to him and how much you try to get him to understand, he just don't listen. So his time was up anyway. Sigma, it's your turn to make a submission.
You are getting it wrong. I'm only explaining things to him to say, okay, there's a representation. Okay,
give others to speak, man. Give others to speak.
My lawyer,
you have spoken, we've been listening to you. Give others a chance to speak. We have been giving you a chance to speak. Give others a chance to speak.
To the moderator, not you.
We have been speaking. Give others a chance to speak.
It's okay. It's okay. Please mute. And then Sigma is a submission. Yeah, hi.
Yeah, thank you guys. I think let me just put it this way, because you're right, host. I think going back and forth with this individual is just waste of time. Here's the thing here. This woman has ticked all the boxes of a person who is fitting the category of a person who is obviously an identity theft and a criminal and a fraudster. When you are on the verge of having a major breakthrough in life on the platform that she now has, a person would do anything to clear their names. Like I said earlier, they would, you know what, she didn't even have to come back. If she had an intention of clearing her name, and if she wasn't indeed guilty of this horrendous crime, she would have responded to the letter that was sent to her by the official Home Affairs, portal to say, I have received your letter and I intend to come back and clear my name as soon as this is over. That's what a person who's innocent was supposed to do. This is a criminal. This is a fraudster. This is a person who unduly benefited from an identity theft of a poor woman out there in South Africa
as well. So yeah. And also, so this Chi girl is completely guilty, and she'll get what's coming to her anyway eventually, because South Africans, I know, take their time with this anyway, because it's not the first time they've had criminals with this sort of issue, not breaking certificates, but they've had criminals with this sort of aura as well. So the South African government will take their time with this, and she'll eventually get her justice served. And also, there's one other thing I wanted to say as well. I mean, so the South African government then issued a letter saying that you need to respond to this within a certain deadline. She then, her and her family decided to disrespect that and not respond. So it doesn't, like, on those clear signs that she's clearly guilty or there's something shady about this. And the funny thing is, right, she didn't even want to represent Nigeria. She wanted to represent South Africa because she's a fraud. So she's a South African reject, and Nigerians are celebrating that. But yeah, sorry, Sigma. I know I'm trying to say it slowly to him because his head doesn't seem to be processing this sort of information. So it's just frustrating sitting there listening to it. She's completely complicit. She's guilty just as much as her parent is, because she benefits from the fake South African ID, and eventually she'll get what's coming to her anyway. So all these Nigerians on there playing face, playing.
Black Pearl. Is it Black Pearl? Yes. To say, my brother, how old were you when you first learned or found out the truth about your own upbringing, or where you come from, or how you ended up being, I don't know which country you're from, but whatever is your home country, how old were you when that first became when that information first became available to you?
My brother, it's not all about age.
I'm asking you a question. It's very simple. I'm asking you, how old were you when you found out?
How can you say a girl that was, a older committed a crime?
Well, then it's one of two things. Then I think, my brother. Wait, if you're not going to answer
the ID issued when she was 18?
I agree on two things, right? So if you're saying that it's possible that a 23-year-old could be as old as she is and not know the own truth about her family tree and where she really comes from, then I think it's one of two things. One, you're either very ignorant about things that really matter, or you're just not that bright. And whichever one you choose to be, I think then you become unfit to become a Miss Universe.
Can I say something? Can I respond to it?
Wait, let me just quickly finish.
Can
I just quickly finish? So I think you can't say that where it's possible that someone who is as young as 6 or 7 years old could know the truth about where they come from, or maybe they were lied to, but once you turn 18 and you've been told you were Zulu all your life, you start to wonder, but where are the rest of my Zulu family members? Then you're either not very bright then, or you're just really ignorant about things that really matter, such as your true identity. And whichever one you choose to become, I think it makes you an unfit contestant or an unfit candidate to be a Miss Universe. So which one is it?
Can I respond? Can I answer his question?
Sure, go for it.
Okay, first of all, you only knew what your parents told you.
And you're not going to bother to question it until you turn 18?
Black Pearl, what? Can you answer the question? If you can't answer the question, please go down, guys. We don't have time for this, like literally.
Trigger Queen.
Look, can I just quickly finish? I don't think Black Pearl is going to give me an answer anyway, because I know he's going to try and dance around the issue.
To speak. So
wait,
what to do?
I asked you a very simple question, my brother, and you started dancing around the issue, so I don't think I'm going to get an answer anyway from you. But I think what many of you are failing to understand is why this thing or why this scandal is of paramount importance to many South Africans is the fact that ever since this thing was brought to light, we've discovered as South Africans that there are quote unquote home affairs offices that are run in this country by foreign nationals, where they fraudulently obtain passports, IDs, and even marriage certificates. And of course, we know which country has been flagged for doing that in the past. And again, I'm not saying it's the only country that would indulge themselves in those types of criminal activities, but we also know who is the main culprits, or who is most likely, or which country has no fear when it comes to, I guess, them getting hold to a fake document, whether it's a fake qualification or a fake marriage certificate or an ID or a passport, because they would rather be anything else than who they truly are. So maybe you guys think, oh, why are South Africans just making a big fuss about this? But this is very important to us.
Full law, but for you to extend her to the crimes of one person, that's the problem with African countries is you take the crime of a parent and you ascribe that to the child, whether she knew or not. We don't know that yet. So let all the information come out, and that way we'll know exactly what happened. Just because your father is a criminal doesn't mean you're a criminal.
Okay, fine. Let me ask you this. Yeah, fine. Let me ask you this. You said she's a child. In Nigeria, how old is a child? Like, for a person to be a minor in Nigeria, what is the age range? What is considered a child in Nigeria?
Universally, once you are above 18, you're considered an adult.
No, don't say universally, because the age of consent, for example, in your country is 12 years old in some states. So don't say universally. It's not universal. I'm asking you, what is a child?
The 12 years that you just quoted, is that a law in Nigeria?
Listen, it's not about...
No. You quoted 12 years old. I said the 12 years that you just quoted, is that a law in Nigeria that says...
Yeah, in some states it is.
An adult?
No, it's 18 in general. It's not 12 years.
Exactly. Okay, you see that this guy just lied. You just lied. So why should I believe everything else that you're saying?
Calm down.
No. Why should I believe everything else that you're saying? No,
but you can't make a statement and say, no. I have to answer you. Just calm down. You're too emotional. This is very simple. Nobody has made the argument that Chidimma was a criminal as a child. We simply stated that at some point she learned that her identity is acquired fraudulently and therefore continued to benefit from it. And even after she was given a platform and an opportunity to defend herself legally, she did not exercise that platform. And any person with a brain would then conclude she is indeed guilty. Why is this so difficult to understand?
Anybody with a brain would have to speak to their lawyer first before they go. Anybody with a brain will have to speak to their lawyer first before going and let this case play out in the court.
She had 21 days to speak to her lawyer, and she did not. Why don't you understand this?
How do you know that she did not?
Because the department then came out to tell the press that she has not responded and the deadline has lapsed. My goodness.
Was that?
Created had a question. Can you please hear created, please?
Sorry, I'm so sorry. But from MC, don't be emotional. Calm down.
You should be focusing on that or focusing on what our goal was.
I don't know what you're saying.
Calm down, MC. It's okay.